Hi guys, welcome to another session of News in 30 minutes. Today, let us discuss some of the important issues on the 4th of November 2023. Before we get into the issues, I just am excited to announce that 250 more members, and we will be reaching the mark of 2000 subscribers. And as I told you, once we do that, you unlock the T&T series. More than my students, I am more excited about this series to look at the reaction in my students' faces about the utility of this series in your mains exam. So let us see how you people will accept this new series, a new innovative approach towards GS mains, all the three papers. So with that, let us get back to the news in 30 minutes and let us analyze the important issues on the 4th of November 2023. Let's get to it. The first issue is food processing is now a sunrise sector, tells our Prime Minister of India. So food processing is a very, very important topic because it is explicitly mentioned in your GS3 syllabus. One 10 marker and one 15 marker is usually asked on food processing. And the questions are pretty direct. So we will discuss in such a depth that you don't have to prepare on food processing again. So that is for sure. Now, before we start discussing about food processing industries as such, what are these sunrise industries? You should understand what are sunrise industries. Example of sunrise industries may be pharmaceuticals, it may be electronics, it may be biotechnology, or for now what is termed as food processing. So all these industries are known as sunrise industries. So sunrise industries are industries that are emerging and rapidly growing. They are emerging as well as they are rapidly growing, and they offer a significant economic opportunity. So all those industries that are emerging and rapidly growing, that offer significant economic opportunities, can be termed as sunrise industries. Basically, they are still in the horizon and they are moving up or they are rising. That means in the future, they have a very high potential to rise up or peak. So it is basically a prospective term that is giving insights into our future, that in the future these industries have a very high potential to create more opportunities economically or otherwise. So this is what is sunrise industries. So with that, let us now focus on food processing industries. Now what I'll do is I will divide my lecture into 4 parts. One, I'll talk about the scope of food processing industries. Then I'll talk about the advantages of food processing industries. Then we'll discuss about the programs, and then we will discuss about the prospects. So before I just discuss all of this one by one, you should understand the term what is food processing. See, if we take any agri product, that agri product can be crops or it can be a product of livestock. And if we take this and add value, if value additions are done to these products, then this becomes food processing. So before it reaches the end consumer or before it reaches any type of industries, if we had value to these food products of crops or livestock that comes from agriculture or its allied activities, then it automatically becomes food processing. I hope you understood what exactly is the meaning of food processing. India being an agrarian nation, food processing becomes important because it helps farmers. Now, what is the scope of food processing industry? Let us analyze. The first is the contribution of FPI is 8.8% of the total manufacturing gross value added. The next is, if we take the food processing industry, the contribution of food processing industry is 8.3% to the agri gross value added. So if you take the total manufacturing gross value addition of the manufacturing sector, 8.8% contribution is coming from food processing sector. If you take the agri gross value addition, then 8.3% of the contribution of agri GVA is coming from FPI. Okay, see, it is contributing not only to manufacturing, but it is also contributing to agriculture. Okay, that is the beauty of food processing industry. The food that is processed is then moved to the industry. If this is the food processing industry, as I told you, this food processing industry can go into the next industry that will use this product, and obviously it will also create a remuneration for the agriculture. Okay, so food processing industry comes at a intersection of both industries as well as agriculture. Hence, it is important from both the angles. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Then the third scope is it constitutes 13% of total exports. It constitutes 13% of total exports. And the fourth point is it constitutes 6% of total industrial investment. Okay, this is the fifth point. Okay, and that is the fourth point. And the fifth point is what this article tells. In the last 9 years, food processing sector has attracted more than 50,000 crore rupees in FDI. Okay, so these are the 5 important points that provides us the scope of food processing industries or food processing sector in India. 1. The contribution to manufacturing GVA is 8.8%. The contribution to agricultural GVA is 8.3%. It constitutes 13% of the total exports, 6% of the total industrial investment, and in the last 9 years, the FB sector has contributed or attracted the sum of 50,000 crores of foreign direct investment. So this is what is the scope of food processing industries in India. I hope you got the scope of food processing industry. Let's then go to the advantages. Why is it so important in India to facilitate the growth of food processing industries? Okay, so the first advantage, as I told you, is it enhances farmers' income. So farmers will get better remunerative prices for their produce because it creates demand for their produce, and farmers can also store the produce for a longer period of time and then give it at proper prices. Okay, the second is it minimizes wastage. As you know, in India the wastage is very high, so by increasing the shelf life of the food, obviously the wastage is minimized. The third is it improves agri exports. Okay, India is currently placed 7th in agri exports. Okay, so India is currently placed 7th, and we are ambitious to improve this position in our agri export policy that was recently released as well. So with respect to exports also, FPI or food processing industry plays a very important role. The next is the food security of India. Okay, that is one. Now, along with food security, because biofortification is possible in food processing, it will not only provide food security but also nutritional security. That is another advantage of having food processing. Now, this is important because, as you know, more than 30% of the children in India suffer from child stunting, child wasting and child malnourishment. Nutritional security is very important, which in turn is helped by food processing industry. Okay. The next is it helps in crop diversification. In this article of our Prime Minister, the Prime Minister has promoted millets and millet processed foods, which are healthier. Also, millets are good on the environment. So this is how our Prime Minister has supported it. The last is food processing industry is important because it improves the supply chain infrastructure. Because it comes in the middle of the supply chain infrastructure, it will improve the backward linkages as well as the forward linkages. Okay, these are some of the important advantages of food processing industries. Okay, it helps the farmers, the industries, the agriculture, the environment as well as the end customer, including the nutrition of the children. This multidimensional effect is seen in food processing, which shows the significance of food processing, especially in a country like India. Okay, the next is the programs the government has undertaken. The first is PM Sampada scheme. Okay, so this is a cluster based approach. Okay, and they basically talk about hub and spoke model. Okay, and it involves creation of mega food parks. It involves the process of mega food parks. And just an update is currently 20 mega food parks are created, and around 100 district level hubs are connected to global markets. This is the update on the Sampada scheme. 20 mega food parks are created and 100 district level hubs are connected to global markets. So this is one of a very important scheme in food processing. Okay. The second is one district, one product scheme. Again, this is basically talking about cluster based approach at district level. Okay, it is talking about a bottom up approach and a cluster based approach at the district level. Okay, this is under the Ministry of Food Processing. And the third is the Prime Minister formalization of micro food processing enterprises. Okay, why is this important is more than 90% of food processing in India, food processing that happens in India is informal and it is small scale. See, for example, pickles, making of small eatables like chips. So all these are very small scale in India, and these are informal. So because these are informal, the PM formalization of micro food processing enterprises is basically to bring them under the ambits of formality. So when you bring it under the ambits of formality, you are talking about cleanliness, hygiene, improved quality, certification that boosts the confidence in the market. It gives more exposure. It allows more market, penetration. So all these are some of the advantages of formalization of the microprocessing enterprises. And the last is the production linkage incentive. The production linkage incentives for food processing industries. Okay, so incentives are given on the basis of the production, and food processing industries was included into this PLI scheme. Okay, so these are the four programs that are important from food processing perspective. Okay, so we have discussed about the scope, the advantages, the programs. Now let us look at the prospects. Okay, the most important prospect, let me discuss it here. The most important prospect is one, urbanization. Urbanization I say because as urbanization increases, the demand for packaged food increases. So there is increased opportunities. The second prospect is women-led development. Food processing can be women-led development. Our Prime Minister has highlighted this in this article today. Our Prime Minister says that there are 9 crore SHGs in India, and in this majority of them are towards food processing, and they're all controlled by women. Okay, which is again a good news. Okay, the third is our agri-export policy. Our agri-export policy is also aggressively promoting the food processing industries, and again this is another prospect. The fourth is our processing capacity. Our processing capacity has increased in the last 9 years. Our processing capacity has increased in the last 9 years from 12 lakh tons to 200 lakh tons. See, from 10 lakh tons to, look at the increase. Okay, so the increase is greater than 10 times. Correct. So this shows that the prospects of food processing in India is very high. It is definitely a sunrise industry. It definitely has the potential in the future to create economic opportunities. Okay, so I hope you got the difference, or you got the different dimensions within food processing industry, the scope, the advantages, the programs, and the prospects of food processing industry in India. As I told you, food processing as a topic is very important for GS3. It gives direct questions. 1 10 marker and 1 15 marker will be on food processing. Okay, I hope you have done the notes. please make sure that you do the notes. As you can see, if you can do the current affairs linking to static, more or less your note making will also be done on all the points in the syllabus. Okay, so this is how you have to proceed, not by just reading the newspaper, but by backtracking the current affairs to the static part. That's how you cover the syllabus. Okay, so this is the first issue of the day. The next issue is many jamtaras blooming on a bed of greed. Okay, so this article is talking about increasing cyber crimes. As you saw, the recent news of SIM swap events. Okay, people receiving 3 missed calls, and then that is indicative of a SIM swap being made. Correct. So this is one event that is seen in India. So the article tells or talks about why there has been a rise of cyber crimes, and why has there been a rise of hotspots. That is, there are few regions that are specializing. Okay, few regions that are specializing in cyber crimes. Okay, so this article talks on 2 dimensions. Okay, so let us see these 2 dimensions. Okay, before I get into it, let me just read out this particular thing. Cybercrime has become a low risk, high return caper in which transferring expertise is easy. See, that is why cyber crimes are increasing. It is a low risk, high return. Low risk because you can escape the hands of law very easily. High return because if you become successful, you get quick money illegally. Okay, and gaining the expertise is easy. The reason why we will discuss later. Because of this combination of low risk, high return as well as expertise becoming easy, you are seeing a number of hotspots coming up in India that are infamously known for committing cyber crimes. Okay, now before we get into the depth, let us first understand what is cyber crime. Cybercrime involves the following activities. It can be phishing, it can be identity theft. Identity theft, that too is what we call as SIM swap. The next is hacking. Next is cyber bullying, stalking, and extortion. Okay, these are few examples of what cyber crime is. Okay, this cyber crimes can be targeted. It can be targeted towards individuals. It can be targeted towards businesses, and it can be targeted towards governments. Okay, so this is what is cyber crime. Now, why should you study this? Because cyber crime is important because it comes under a broader topic called internal security, and within internal security there is a topic called cyber security. Okay, yesterday we discussed about the breach of policy. Again, there I told you why it is important from cyber security angle. See, with that, today itself there is one more article that is talking about cyber security. Like this, if you read newspaper for 6 months, you would have complete information about cyber security from different dimensions, which you don't need to again read at all. You can only use that to replicate it in your answers, and that itself is what is the preparation in UPSC. Okay, anyways, so let's get on with this. So you learned what is cybercrime. Alright, so cybercrime involves all these activities, and you learned that it can be targeted to individuals, businesses as well as governments. Okay, the next is the hotspots. Why is there rising number of hotspots in India? Before I discuss the why, let us discuss the where. Okay, the where is the according to Future Crime Research Foundation. Okay, according to Future Crime Research Foundation, this is a startup that is into cyber security. So according to this, the top districts, okay, these are the top districts for cyber crimes. These are the top districts for cyber crimes. The first is Bharatpur, the second is Mathura, the third is Nu, the fourth is Diogad, the fifth is Jamtara. I hope you have seen the series. The sixth is Gurgaon. Okay, the seventh is Alwar, The 8th is Bokaro. The 9th is Karamtand. The 10th is Girid. Okay, so if you can see, these are termed as hotspots of cyber crimes in India. Okay, more and more cyber crimes are happening from these places. Okay, as you can see, the spread is not only in East India, it has spread to the North India as well as towards West India. So if you can see, Alwar in Rajasthan, Gurgaon near Delhi, and Bokaro, Girid, and Jamtara, all this in Jharkhand, as well as you can see Mathura in Uttar Pradesh. Correct. So all these places show that the spread of hotspots, cybercrime hotspots, is not only in one part of India, but it is spreading rapidly in East, North, as well as West India. Okay. Now, once we have done with where, now let us focus on why is this increase happening. Okay. Now, the reasons for rising cybercrime hotspots is, as in the beginning we emphasized, it is the low skills that is required. Okay, because the barriers to entry is low. Because the barriers to entry is low, and there are readily available tools. Okay, so because the tools are readily available, there is low expertise that is enough in order to commit cyber crimes. Okay, so this makes sure that even if you have low skills, you can enter into this this particular cyber crime committing skills. All right, so that is the first point. The second is poor KYC verification. That is, our know your customer verification is inadequate and it is very less verified. So when it is inadequate and very less verified, what happens is it enables the cyber criminals to create fake accounts. Because our verification is not robust, correct? Because our verification is not robust, it allows them to create fake accounts. Hence, another reason for the rising hotspots is poor KYC and verification. The next is availability of fake resources. That is, you can easily obtain fake IDs. Okay, you can easily obtain rented SIM cards. So these are easily obtained in the black markets. So because they are easily obtained in the black markets, so this availability of fake resources again increases the scope of committing cybercrime. Okay, the next is affordable artificial intelligence tools. Okay, affordable AI tools. So what this does is it makes the cybercrime the criminals can easily automate some functions, and this automating the functions will enable the scale of attacks. It will enable the scale of attacks, and this in turn will increase the efficiency of cybercrime. Okay, so again, affordable AI tools is creating the automation and increasing the scale, which in turn increases the efficiency. The next is accessible virtual private networks. Okay, now this virtual private networks will provide anonymity. By providing anonymity, it creates difficulty on the authorities to trace the online location of cyber criminals. Okay, so that is another problem. The next is recruitment and training. Basically, the youth who are under or unemployed, these are the people who get trapped into the problems of cyber crimes, and they are easily recruited by the cyber crime syndicates. And these syndicates will easily train them and then push them into the business of cyber crime. Okay, so to summarize, what are the reasons for the rising cyber crime hotspot? One is the low skills required. The low skills is because you have readily available tools. These readily available tools will create low expertise to enter into cyber crimes. So the barriers to entry is low, so it attracts more and more people to take that job because it is easy to be done. The next is poor KYC norms and poor verification. That means cyber criminals can create fake identities very easily. Because our verification is not robust, they can easily create fake identities. The next is availability of fake resources. It is very to obtain fake ID cards and rented SIM cards in black markets in India. That in turn will again favor the cyber criminals. Affordable AI tools that are coming up. These AI tools will help automate different functions and hence improve the scale of attacks. Okay, so one cyber criminal can attack at a much bigger scale or a much bigger institution only because of the availability of affordable AI tools, and this makes the cyber criminals more efficient. The next is accessible virtual private networks. This provides anonymity, and tracing these online location of the cyber criminals becomes difficult from the authorities. The last is recruitment and training. The youth who are under and unemployed fall victims to the cybercrime syndicates, and thus they also take part in the rising of cybercrime hotspots. So these are the 6 important reasons why there is a rising of cyber crimes as well as why there is a rising of cybercrime hotspots. So I hope it was very clear, and I hope that you have made a notes on this, because this itself is a very eye yielding topic in GS3 of topic of cyber security. Okay, so these are some of the issues. The next and the last issue of the day is the governors need to rise above politics. Okay, let me just read out this. Tamil Nadu, Punjab, Kerala have now knocked on the court's door with petitions against their respective governors over a bunch of bills that have been awaiting gubernatorial assent for long. Okay, so the governor is constantly in news, and also you should know that governor is a topic that is repeatedly asked in GS2, and there is always one question on 10 marker or 15 marker. All right, that will always be on governor. Okay, so you should have all the issues. Governor is always there on different issues. Okay, this issue is mainly talking about Article 200. Okay, but governor with respect to other issues are also there. So you should always trace the issue of governor regarding different cases and keep a list of topics ready with respect to governor so that you can replicate it in your answer. Okay, with that, let us discuss what this article about governors is talking about. Okay, so this article about governor is talking about Article 200. This is with respect to passing of a bill by a governor. Okay, now before I just get into the aspect of the passing of the bill, governor, as you remember, is appointed by the president. Governor is appointed by the president. Okay, and the governor stays in office and is until the pleasure of the president. Okay, so you should understand that the governor is appointed by the president, and the governor stays in office until the pleasure of the president. Okay, so this you should know. So basically you can say that the governor is a nominee from the central government who is put in the post of the head of the state government. Okay, so I hope you got that. This is the problem. Since the governor is a nominee who is appointed by the president on the advice of the council of ministers headed by prime minister, the governor will always act inclined towards the union government. Okay, so this creates the clash between the governor and the state governments. Okay, this is the overall issue. However, let us come to Article 200. This is to do with the passing of the bill. Okay, now when the governor receives a bill, the governor can give assent to the bill. Okay, the second is the governor can withhold assent to the bill. Okay, the third is the governor can reserve the bill for the consideration of the president. Okay, and the fourth is the governor can return the bill back to the assembly for reconsideration. Okay, you can do this. So the first aspect is when the governor gives assent to the bill will go on to become an act. Okay, the third is when the governor reserves the bill for the consideration of the president, the governor will lose all his powers regarding that bill, and it is finally up to the president to discuss what needs to be done with the bill. That is the third one. The fourth is pocket veto. They call this pocket veto. Pocket veto is when the bill goes to the governor can return the bill to the assembly, but if the assembly resubmits the bill to the governor, now it is incumbent on the governor to mandatorily give his assent to the bill. Okay, so this is the three things that are going on. The fourth issue that is actually creating a lot of noise is this. Okay, the governor has the power to withhold assent. Now this shows that the governor has no time frame to assent the bill. Okay, the governor can hold the bill as long as the governor wants, because in Article 200 the Constitution says that the governor must give assent to the bill as soon as possible. This is the problem. As soon as possible is a subjective criteria. There is no quantification aspect to it. So in general, there is no time frame for the governor to abide to give assent to the bill. So this gives him the power to withhold his assent. So if he withholds his assent, the bill will always stay as a bill and it will not become an act. Now this is the issue. Okay. So the governments of first the Telangana government had gone. Okay, after that went the Tamil Nadu government, after that the Punjab government, after that went the Kerala government. Okay, these are the governments that have gone to the Supreme Court complaining against the governor on the misuse of Article 200. Okay, so what they allege is there are several bills that are pending and the governor is failing to act on these bills. Okay, so I will give you two statements that you can itself give as an argument in your answers. These are the statements given by the government itself, so you can definitely state this, but state them exactly as they are. Okay, as I told you, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Punjab and Kerala have filed petitions against their respective governors, okay, regarding their bill not being passed and withholding them. So look at what the Kerala government has said. You can make a note of this and write it in your answers because it is stated by the government itself. The Kerala government argued that the governor has subverted the constitution and acted in an arbitrary manner by keeping the bills on hold for an indefinite period. Okay, they allege that the governor has subverted the constitution. Next, Tamil Nadu has urged the court to declare the inaction, the omission, delay and failure to comply with the constitutional mandate as not in the spirit of the law. Okay, it has urged the court to declare the inaction, omission, delay and failure of the governor to comply with the constitutional mandate as not in the spirit of the law. They say the governor is creating a constitutional deadlock. Okay, as I told you, you can state this in your answers as arguments from the state, from the side of the state. Okay, so this is given by Kerala government and Tamil Nadu government. Okay, now another thing what you should know is the Supreme Court in its observation in the Telangana, when the Telangana government filed a petition on the same Article 200, in that instance Supreme Court had reminded the governor, or constitutional authorities that the phrase as soon as possible that is given in Article 200, appearing in Article 200, contains significant constitutional content that should drive them to a sense of immediacy in considering the bills. So basically Supreme Court is telling that you have to make sure that you act upon the bills and you should not take advantage. You should not take advantage of the omissions in the constitutional provisions. Okay, what it means is because the constitutional provisions does not mention the time frame. Since it does not mention the time frame, it is not incumbent for you to take advantage of this omission. However, you should act in accordance with the constitution, because as soon as possible that is written in the Article 200 is appearing as a constitutional content which it is a significant constitutional content, it is a significant constitutional content that should drive them to a sense of immediacy in considering bills. So this is what the Supreme Court has said when Telangana government has filed the petition. So this issue is been happening, and this is the issue of the governor with regards to Article 200. Okay, now to just give you an extra information, two things that you should know is, see, governor is de facto considered as the chancellor of any university in the state. Okay, governor is considered as the chancellor of any university in the state. Okay, now this is not in constitution, this is only a convention. I'll repeat, there is nothing in the constitution that gives the right for the governor to claim this chancellor. It is just out of convention that they have given this. Okay, now the state have the power, the state will have the power to change the rules. Okay, now when the state has tried to change the rules, the governors are not approving the bill, claiming that it is their right to be the chancellors. Again, this is wrong. The constitution under any circumstances does not give them the right to be chancellors. It is just out of convention that they are becoming the chancellors. Okay, this is one thing that you should know. The second thing is, you should also know a few Supreme Court cases. You should know a few Supreme Court cases that are regarding governor. Okay, the first case is S.R. Bommai case. This happened in 1994. The second case is Rameshwar Prasad case. Okay, if you remember, this is Bihar Assembly dissolution case. It's the Bihar Assembly dissolution case. This happened in 2006. And the third was the more recent one, Nebam Rabia case. Okay, this is Arunachal Assembly case of 2016. Okay, so these are three important cases regarding the governor and the constitutional powers regarding the governor. Okay, so these were some of the important issues. I hope these issues were helpful. I hope you have paused the video and written down certain arguments that you can directly replicate in your answers. Okay, so if these videos have helped you in any way in your UPSC preparation, please like, share and subscribe. And again, to remind you, 250 more members for me to reach the 2000 subscribers, and then you people will unlock the T&T series. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the session. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.